This particular chair, named as Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, has various initiatives, so multiple programs, multiple research projects, multiple courses, workshops, seminars are being organized on behalf of the chair to propagate and to disseminate knowledge on Jain heritage and Jain art, architecture, and related aspects. As a part of this, Professor H.D. Sankalia monthly lecture series on Jain heritage was taught, and this was named so because Professor H.D. Sankalia with Dr. Shobna Gokhale, in one of their articles, they have deciphered the inscription at the cave at Pale, which is near Pune. Before the decipherment of this particular inscription, no one was actually very much sure, or no one was ready to accept that Jainism very well accepted during the second century BCE in the region of Western Deccan, or specifically Western Maharashtra. This decipherment and affirmation of the inscription by Professor S.D. Sankalia in the direction that it starts with Namo Arahantanam, it was accepted worldwide that the presence of Jainism in 2nd century BCE can very well be proved. And later, a similar inscription starting with a similar invocation was found and deciphered by one of our faculty members of Deccan College, Dr. Shrikant Pradhan from Lohgadwadi Jain Caves. Thus, to commemorate the Professor H.D. Sankalia's contribution to the field of archaeology and specifically to Jain heritage, we have named this particular series as Professor H.D. Sankalia Monthly Lecture Series on Jain Heritage. Till now, 3 lectures have been delivered since the month of September, October, November, and this is the 4th lecture in series. To deliver the 4th lecture of Professor H.D. Sankalia Monthly Lecture Series, we have with us Dr. Swapna Joshi, and she will be delivering a talk on the subject Painted Stories, the Art of Seth Bhandasar Jain Temple, Bikaner. And to give a formal introduction of Dr. Swapna Joshi, I would like to request Dhananjay Khandare, a research assistant of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, to give a brief introduction of our today's speaker.
Good evening, everyone. Our today's speaker, Dr. Swapna Joshi, is currently working as an associate archaeologist at Tejaswini Afre and Associates. She did her master's in ancient Indian history, culture, and archaeology from Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute. Her research topic for master's dissertation was continuity of rock painting tradition amongst the Gond community at Dharul, an ethnoarchaeological perspective. She did her PhD at the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, Pune, and her doctoral thesis topic was Celestial Impact, a cultural narratives of Lonar crater through architectural forms. Her many articles are published on different subjects in Marathi and English languages. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dhananjay Bhaiya, for this kind introduction. Before we begin with our today's lecture, I would like to give some instructions to the participants. No one would unmute themselves in the middle of the lecture so that our lecture functions smoothly. And the questions, whatever you may have regarding the lecture, should be typed in the chat box. No one would ask the question by unmuting themselves without the permission. Kindly just type your questions in the chat box, which we will take towards the end of the lecture. So I now request, without any further delay, to Dr. Swapna Joshi to kindly begin her lecture.
Thank you so much, Ocean and Dhananjay. Uh, this feels like speaking at home because I am a student of Deccan College, and thanks to Dr. Shrikant Ganvir and the entire team at Jain Center of Deccan College. What I shall be speaking today is certainly not a part of my prominent research. This is it is something that I have ventured into recently and in the form of pretty minor articles. Um, it it did strike some interest in me and I started exploring, and I feel that in fact today's talk is a dais for me to present my current findings and have feedback rather than g- putting across something new and enlightening others with something new. It's going to be a learning process for me because I am not a student of Jain history, Jainism, or for that matter even paintings. So these are the two topics that are completely new to me, but I'm sort of trying to present my ongoing research on it. So if it's anything useful I'm glad. But please, at the end, feel free to pinpoint anything that you feel can be added to this work. I'll share my screen now. Is my PPT visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. I'll I'll just switch off my camera so that the visibility is better. Yeah. Can everyone see the first title slide?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So today I speak, of course, on painted stories, and it's about the art which is presented in Seth Bhandasar Jain Temple, which is in Bikaner, Rajasthan. So at the onset, Seth Bhandasar Jain Temple, it's situated in the heart of Bikaner city. It's an imposing structure located in the Bada Bazar area of the modern city of Bikaner, and it's next to another famous temple which is known as Lakshminath Ji Ka Mandir. In fact, Lakshminath Ji Ka Mandir is frequently visited by tourists, and Bhandasar is visited because they come to Lakshminath Ji. This temple enshrines fifth Jain Tirthankar, Sumatinath. It is one of the oldest Jain temples from Bikaner, located inside the old fortification wall. In fact, it's believed that by the people of Bikaner that this temple was built even before the city settled. So before, say, 16th century or somewhat thereabout. There's no particular sort of historical reference found to substantiate this claim, and mostly it looks like an attempt to reinstate the antiquity of the temple. But locally, the temple is often used as a place marker to locate the extent of the old settlement of Bikaner. Like this was until where Purana Bikaner existed. The temple is named after Oswal Jain Seth, known as Bhanda Shah, who is accredited to the patronage of this temple. One would find the temple referred as Bhanda Shah Ka Mandir, या फिर घी से बना पुराना मंदिर, literally speaking, an old temple which is made out of clarified butter. So this narrative surrounding Seth Bhandasar is quite popular, and it features in Bikaner's intriguing accounts. It links to the construction of the temple by the legendary figure Seth Bhandasar, who was a merchant of clarified butter. So there are sort of two versions of tale which are popular in Bikaner. The first tale is of a hermit's curse, where a wandering hermit entrusted a valuable belonging to Bhandasha, who deceitfully claims it lost upon the hermit's return, and angered, the hermit curses Bhandasha's lineage. So, to seek redemption, Bhandasha is instructed to build a temple at a site chosen by the cow's milking. So, now, since he is a merchant of clarified butter, he chooses to lay the foundation of the temple with some umpteen quintals of ghee, giving the temple its nickname, Ghee Se Bana Mandir. There's another incident where which says that Bhandasha was trying to save a lamp which was full of clarified butter since a fly fell into it. Now, the architect of this temple, who where the temple was undergoing construction, saw this and said that the merchant is miserly. Now, this was not something which Bhandasha approved of, and to refute this, he decided to donate some umpteen quantities of clarified butter for the temple's construction. Now, this use of ghee is something which attracts people a lot. But apart from that, portions of the history of the temple, like who built it, or are the political dynasties of the Raos of Bikaner associated with it? What is the time frame? What are the particular historical restorations that happened in the temple? All of this is does not surface in any of the popular or even scholarly discussions, and which is why I was attracted to the temple, and I decided to explore further. So at the onset, first thing which is absolutely lesser known of the temple or and does not surface anywhere, I think I have not found it yet, is an inscription which is found at two places. First is this inner surface of the antechamber, where the inscription says that Samvat 1521 Prasado विजय राजाधिराज श्री लूणकरण विजय राजो सहा भांडाशाह प्रासाद नाम त्रैलोक्य दीपक. One sec, I'll just point it out. Trailokya Deepak Karavit. Now this is has been, of course, painted later. It must have been carved originally. And what we see here is the pratoli or the entrance gateway of the main temple, where the similar inscription has been uh, rewritten. Here the dates read as 1521, whereas here the dates read as 1571. Considering Rao Loonkaran's reign, this 1571 somewhat seems to be a more ideal date because he reigned in the early years of the 16th century, and it's possible that the original construction of the temple began somewhere in those decades. Before we venture into what is our today's prime point of discussion, a brief view of the architecture would help. So the temple is oriented to the east. It's a Sandhar temple, meaning which there is a circumambulatory path or Pradakshina Patha, which is incorporated between the main shrine and the outer walls of the temple. On plan, it has Garbhagruha, Antarar, and Mandapa, and a small Mukha Mandapa, which you can see here, and of course, in this plan. All of these is made from stone, brick, stucco, various materials. It's a Shekari Shikhar, which is painted several times. Um, on the exterior, the temple is more or less bichrome, like it's only the red and white color and occasional multicolored designs, which you can see on these domes or probably framings on the walls and pillars. Uh, and this is quite contrast to the interior of the temple, which we'll see in a bit. So this is the contrasting interior of the temple, where every inch and every wall surface, pillar or ceiling has been exquisitely painted. This is the central dome of the mandapa with the north-facing side. This is the antechamber, a long elongated passage from which you enter the Garbhagruha. This side is the Garbhagruha. And this is the main facade of the Garbhagruha. Except for the Garbhagruha, which does not have any figural paintings, but more floral motifs and golden embossing. All other portions of the interiors of the temple are heavily painted. Uh, Now, for today, it is, or until now, I have not decoded all the paintings which exist in the temple and what all I have deciphered until now. Even it's not possible to accommodate all of it in one discussion. So I would rather provide a glimpse which would tell us that what are the themes and what are the stories and the prominent figures that surface in these paintings, so on and so forth. So first of all, as I said, the location on the exterior of the temple, we would see them as panels, small square panels or rectangular panels on wall flanking the windows. But on the interior, you would find them on pillars, keystones, beam, arches, antechamber. When I say antechamber, it's the ceiling of the antechamber, the walls and different portions, wall surfaces of the mandapa and the dome, and also the ceiling of the circumambulatory path. So let's get a look at what are the broad themes which I have identified as yet. So definitely the 24 Jain Tirthankaras. There are these painted portraits in the antechamber, and all of them have inscriptions. That is, their names are inscribed below the paintings. Then there are stories of birth, acceptance of monkhood, journey as ascetics, and sermons given by the Jain ascetics or even Tirthankaras. Jain monks from the Karatargacha surface. Episodes of their deeds and miracles are an important part. Then there are auspicious symbols which are important in Jainism that are those are used at several locations. There are few episodes from Ramayana stories of Krishna. This is mostly on the exterior. Deities like Vishnu, Hanuman, or even a different form of Gajalakshmi, Saraswati, they are found in smaller bits. And all of these have background designs of and scrolls of floral motifs. Most of them are beautifully golden embossed. Then there are geometric patterns. And the most noteworthy aspect of all paintings are that it uses vibrant colors. They are nowhere monochrome, bichrome, or even using they are mostly polychrome. So that's one of the important aspects. So this is on the exterior, uh, somewhere on these parts. So they are divided by these fluted columns, and such kind of windows or doorways are flanked by panels of paintings. Here you would find Muralidhar Krishna, then the attendants over there. Um, One important point to note is the color scheme and the style of painting, which is used here on the exterior versus what we would see inside is different. It's not same. Of course, the fluted arches or columns or something that depicts Rajasthan architecture uh, does come in both paintings, but here they are more of bluish colors and uh, two or three kind of pigments. The local artists say that this is the Matheran Kala of Bikaner, and they do not engage in retouching these paintings as much as they engage in retouching the paintings of the interiors. Uh, Here, there are no particular paintings which are specifically related to, say, Jain principles or Jain beliefs. And of course, they are much lesser in number. Like, for example, the back elevation of the temple does not have any paintings at all. In fact, these are also in the frontal base of the side elevations. And even the front elevation, two walls, it does not have any of the paintings. So that brings us to the interiors. So this is an example of doorway from the inside. Like we saw the doorway on the exterior side. So this is an example of a doorway from the interior side. This main doorway where there are two attendants. This is made in wood. The portion surrounding it is in brick, and there are now these paintings differ. Here you can find a sort of a religious shrine. Then here there are deities. This has eroded. Then here there are two elephants, and the details of it are peculiar. Like for example, the attendant and the headgear of this attendant has golden color. uh, so the artists in Bikaner say that earlier this used to be like original gold foil or gold as a color, but now they have shifted to oil pastels and using more readily available colors. The floral motifs that are around these niches or on the pillar, these are more or less common in the entire of the interiors of the temple. Second important set of paintings that we find in the interior of the temple are uh, uh, these what you say preachings, or these messages as to how one should behave. And there are several of this, like what happens if you misbehave in a particular way. So there are these philosophies that one should keep in mind. Like for example, over here if we see pati ka pradnya na manne ka phal. So here it's a lady, and she is undergoing or receiving a punishment for not behaving in a particular way. Or over here in this, it's they are shown like 4 to 5 birds in a pond, and they uh, probably someone tried to kill them, and then how they faced adverse effect of it, because pakshi marne ka phal. So the fruits of trying to kill fruits, no, the punishment of trying to kill birds. Um, Similarly, over here you can get chori ka मान लेने चोरी का माल लेने का फल, sorry for the typo. So if you acquire something which does not belong to you and it's a theft, so you shouldn't keep it, and it's going to have an adverse effect. Or chugli ka fal, then again you're going to be attacked by, say, scorpions, snakes. You're not going to have a good end. So if you say something about bad about someone behind his back, then it's not good. All of these kinds of sayings. This is these paintings are on the beams in the antechamber, and this is also the location where on one of the locations there are paintings of 24 tirthankaras. Yeah. With that, I would come to the central dome of the mandapa. There are four different bands which could be discussed individually, and all these four bands have their own themes. It's not like the entire band every time is concurrent with a theme, but of course there is a preference to a particular story or a particular theme, and it's bet it's better if we discuss it in succession. So I would like to start with this lowermost band. Now, this band is mostly dedicated to showing cityscapes of Bikaner. So the two scrolls that I show here, there are eight. No, there are six in total. So this is one of the prominent temples in Bikaner. As to is this, it's known as the Sri Chintamani Mandir. If we see here, what is different is to the bands which are above them, that all of these white temples are sort of embossed on the surface as to the other paintings. So they have used lime stucco to emboss those structures and bring out the details in them, whereas other portions of the painting are at a lower relief. Uh, what they show as architecture is very interesting, because they are depicting local art, local architecture, the drapery, what people carry. Then, as the drapery differs, we come to know that who is a layman, who's a monk, where are they staying, what was the kind of architecture when the paintings were made or when they were conceptualized, all sorts of things. Another interesting in this is that two more paintings. This is the Shitala Darwaza or Sitala Darwaza, which is one of the entrances to the fortification wall of Bikaner. There are still remains of it in bits and portions in Bikaner. So it's written over here as Sitara Darwaza. And this is Bada Upasara or Rangdi. This is also an area. This is the entire scroll which shows that area and how the setting of that area is. What is in the center is the Bada Upasara. So this was sort of a setting or a setup which was created by Karamchand Bachawat when monks had come to Bikaner, and he wanted them to have a place to stay. And this Bada Upasara or Ragdi is still a locality in Bikaner. Of course, it does not have this kind of an elaborate architecture anymore. Uh, I have not really compared exact remains and what's shown uh, in the painting, but yeah, that would be an interesting exercise which I mean to do sometime later. This brings us to the second band, which is right above. So we just saw bands like these where the temples and the cityscapes of Bikaner are prominent. Above them are these 16 sites, which are say about uh, a meter or so high, and they have different stories depicted. Now, compared to, of course, the rectangular band, since this portion is large, they have bigger stories. There's a lot happening in there. And the commonality in all these 16 sides is that this clouds that they have shown in the arches. All of them are separated by these fluting columns. As to themes, it's of course related to Jainism or Shwetambar Jain sect stories, but it's not just one particular theme. It's a mix of preachings or people who decided to accept Jainism as a religion, and what one should do, how one should behave, and a mix of all of that. So now we'll see some panels from this particular band. The first, of course, is Samavasaran. Samavasaran, Samosarana, as it's written over here. All of these paintings are inscribed. Um, as in terms of depiction, it's a 2D painting, but it's interesting how they've shown the doorways interspersed in all of the walls, circular walls. At the center, you would find the seated important image below the tree. Then there are people, there are monks, then there's an entire band of animals, and the final band is mostly other people. So it's designed in generally designed in form of four circular passages. Uh, each of it has entrances, and the Tirthankar is positioned at the center. Now, Samavasaran is found in many manuscript folios, uh, but painting or palm leaf manuscript editions do have Samavasaran sometimes. But painting as such on the wall in this format has not seen, at least in Bikaner. Of course, I've not um, surveyed other areas. But say the Junagadh Palace or other temples from Bikaner do not have anything of this sort. Uh, there are, I think, three paintings overall dedicated to Vijay Seth and Sethani. So this is the story of a couple who adopted the vow of celibacy, and so here they are shown in probably their palace or their house. And if you see here, they are shown sleeping on bed right next to each other. And here they are shown with a Jain Tirthankar. I'm zooming in. Hopefully, it's visible. Now, in all this, the details of the house and how they have mixed a blend, like it's a blend or it's a mixture of Rajasthani architecture where certain European influences are also coming in, because probably that is the when architecture was made. I would like to pinpoint over here where there is a clock tower and there is a Indian flag hoisted on the top of the clock tower. So these are giveaways to tell us sort of the period when the paintings were made. We'll come to it towards the end. So this is one set of paintings which are related to Vijay Sethani ka Sila Vrat. It's written over here, Vijay Sila Vrat Pal Lete Hain. And here it's written, Seth Ji Vijay Sethani ko par karta hai. So it's their journey, and a set of paintings is dedicated to that. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Next set of paintings is about uh, uh, two wealthy Jain merchants, Shalibhadra and Dhana. So here it's written Salabhadra Vairag Leta Hai, and here it's written Dhana Vairag Leta Hai. So these are the two wealthy Jain merchants who renounced the material world and embraced monkhood. So this is their each of the paintings is dedicated to each of their lifestyle and life
Soundbook.
prior to becoming hello. Okay. prior to embracing monkhood. And this is where it reads Salabhadra Ardhana Mandir mein Chetvandan karte hain. So now they have accepted a new life and they are starting anew. So this is another set of paintings. This is the story of Bharat and Bahubali. So students or researchers of Jainism must be aware that after Rishabhnath renounced his kingdom, he divided his kingdom between two sons. He had many sons, but he divided them into, say, two sons from two wives, Bahubali and Bharat. Uh, but sort of there was not a consensus between them as to what portions to accept, and which led to a duel. So this portion shows the duel which happened between them two. Yeah, it's written over here, Bharatji Bahu Bali Ka Yudh. But then towards the end, it's shown that Bahubali really is not happy with his own behavior. He is in the thoughts that what is he going to gain by really fighting his brother, and whatever he acquires after that fight, is he going to be happy with it? So he decides to not fight. He decides to let go. So here probably the fall of his mukut, that we call, and now the two new attributes which would continue for his later life entering are depicted. And this could be the scene where now Bahubali stood at one place until he was satisfied that his ego has completely gone, and now he has given up anything from the material mundane world and is ready to move forward in life. The soldiers in these battles are very interesting. They have different attires and carrying different weapons. And yeah, so that this is another set of paintings. So this is right above the entrance, the main entrance of the inner side of the main entrance of the temple. So here it's written Gautam Swami Ashta Pada Chadhe. So Gautam Swami, he climbs the Ashtapada Tirtha, which was earlier sort of attained by Rishabhnath. So it's said that while he was climbing the eight steps, or rather the steps of the Tirtha, he was holding the rays of the sun. So if we all see here, particularly there is a depiction of a sun here with those rays illuminating sort of outside, but shown very differently. Uh, Not the usual. It has an face to it, anthropomorphic thing to it. So, and his hand is up in the air. So he's trying to hold, or he's holding that rays of the sun. And it is believed that by doing this act, uh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he enlightens about 1503 monks. So those are shown here, like several of monks are standing here, and it's a beautiful depiction of a tirtha where there is water, greenery, mountains, and monks trying to gather and trying to achieve enlightenment, and then he is climbing upwards with his hand in the air trying to hold that. The shrine shown is also very peculiar. Again, something that you would see in the region and appropriation of that. Also important to note here is, I guess, Rishabhnath's headgear, or his hair too, is generally locks on his shoulders, if I'm not wrong, and that is what they've tried to portray here. It's the photos can be zoomed up to a limit, and it's high up, so I'm not sure how much details one can see from these, but I'll try to point out wherever possible. Yeah. One of the most important, I would say, paintings in these set of eight is this one, which reads as Dada Ji Ka Pagliya. So it's a shrine, it's a memorial shrine which is built in the memory of Dada Guru. So we would come to this later, that who was Dada Guru and their rule. But so Khartar Gacha, one of the largest monastic orders, I suppose, from the Shvetambara Murti Pujak lineages, uh, had four prominent Dada Gurus, and there is a huge list of, if I'm not wrong, hundreds of Dada Baris, as they call it, where the footprints or the pious feet of Dada Guru are revered, and this is a depiction of one of it. If I'm not wrong, the prominent one is in Ajmer. So if we see here, it's like a chhatri that which we see in central India, a semi open structure at the center of water, and there are two of these footprints or these khadaws, you can say, which are kept here, and then there is passage to enter. So this tells us that why like the presence of this painting is important, because it helps us in contextualizing the temple itself. Now Bhanda Shah Oswal, whom we learnt in the beginning, he was of course from the Oswal community. Hence, he's also called as Bhanda Shah Oswal. And Khartar Gacha Shvetambara Murti Puja lineage also has affiliation to the Oswals, and sort of that tells us that what is driving the choice of paintings that we see in the temple. And further, we'll see that there is a band dedicated to Dadaji or Dada Guru. That I think Dadaji is more of a loving name that they call when they initiate a puja for the Dada Guru, which is one of the prominent uh, practice that the Shvetambara Jains follow when they definitely build a temple. So it could be an indication of one of those acts. With that, we would move a little more further, like to give you an example. We were on this band right now. This is the Dadaji Ka Paglia that we discussed last, and now we would be on this circular band. Yeah. Now this band has a completely different story, and in fact, this is the only band from the dome which has a entire continuous theme, and all episodes which are depicted are also in succession to each other. uh, mm, they are entirely related to each other. So this circle is dedicated to Neminath, or name what I would point out where it's written. Okay, it would be in the next slide. So it starts here. Just a sec, yeah. So the band story starts here. This is right above the entrance to the Garbhagruha, where it says that Ugrasen Raja ka Mahal. So mm, Ugrasen Raja, who was the king of Junagadh, we know, and his daughter Rajul, Rajmati, and there are different names that surface for her. She saw Name Kumar or Neminath, who later becomes Neminath, and wanted to marry. So Ugrasen Raja decides to approach him and set up a wedding for the two. So this is his mahal, or his, we can also say, principality or kingdom, which is depicted here. Then here it's the second painting next to it, where you can see that there is an entire procession now traveling from say the forest. Here it reads Samudra Vijayji. Now Samudra Vijay was the younger brother of King Vasudev. Neminath is considered a cousin to Krishna, and from the family. So Samudra Vijayji was also part of the procession. In the successive thing, we see Balabhadraji, and this I'm not sure what it reads. Uh, Here you see Neminath. Uh, if I zoom, it'll be real. So he's shown blue skin here, and what it reads here is पशु जानवरों को बंधे हुए देखकर श्री नेम कुंवर ने रथ पीछे गेरी. So this is what is the entire episode that it's explaining. Now, what if the story goes as when Neminath was on his way to his own marriage, he saw that there were animals and birds caged along the roadside. So we see here these two. This is birds caged, and these are the animals which are kept in confinement, and they were whining, and all through his journey he could listen these animals and birds whining, and after a point he was not sure what the reason for this whining was. So he asked his charioteer that what is the reason, why are they upset. So to which the charioteer explains, like here it's probably one is asking something, one is pointing out to something, that what is happening. The charioteer tells him that all of these animals are going to be slaughtered for the wedding, like for his own wedding. And upon hearing this, Neminath is not at all happy, and uh, he decides to abandon. He decides that he's not going to get married and he's going to go away. So, which is why it's written with the name Kuvar ne Rath Piche Geri. So, as soon as he sees these animals, he decides to back off. Next, over here is Sauripur Nagar, which is Surapur Nagar ne Nemnath ki jaan jati hai. So he gives up his life, and now here in this in this paintings he is still Nemnath cover, because he's a prince who is going to get married, but now here he is inscribed as Nemnath, and the procession is going further. And in the next story, also now of course, since he has given up everything, now he is inscribed as Shri Nemnath, even if his attire and drapery has not changed. Shri Nemnath ji Shri Girnar ji taraf jate hai. So he eventually decides that he wants to move towards Girnar, and then Neminath finds solace at the Girnar mountain. So this is the entire life story of Neminath, as like he becomes the Tirthankar, and the entire band is dedicated to this story. So which is interesting that they have chosen to sort of point it out in one circle. Yeah. With that, we come to the innermost and the I would say most complex of the uh, dome paintings. So we were here when we were discussing the Neminath story on this band, and these are the oval cartouches, which each one of them has a different story. There are these two concentric circles. Each circle contains 16 ovals and different stories. This lower or the bottom circle has stories of deeds of two significant Jain ascetics, whom I just mentioned. They're regarded as acharyas. So it's Jina Datta Suri and Jina Chandra Suri, or Jina Chandra Suri the second. Jina Datta Suri was active in the 12th century, and Jina Chandra Suri was active in the 16th, 17th century. But both of their stories are incorporated in these paintings. As I mentioned, they belong to the Kharatar Gacha, which is one of the large monastic orders of the Murti Puja Shvetambara belief system. This particular Kartar Gacha was formed in the 11th century. Now, both these, or rather all the Dada Gurus, are attributed with several miracles, and few of them are shown here. To sort of get a background, Jina Datta Suri, we know, was born in Gujarat in about late 10th century to Vajak and Bahar Devi. He was from the Humbat clan. He was the first one to receive the title Yuga Pradhan. Now, among these paintings on the dome, most paintings depict scenes from his life and the works or the miracles that he did. Uh, there are several miracles which are associated with him, and mostly they reiterate that he had control over supernatural beings and he possessed divine powers. Jina Chandrasuri, who was born in 16th century, was born in Jodhpur to Shrivant Shah and Sri Devi. He was also initiated into the Jain monastic traditions at a tender age, and he has also worked relentlessly for the Khartar Gacha. He is said to have resided for some time in Bikaner, and that is how he is connected to the region. He was one of the important Jain preachers to be invited to the royal court during Emperor Akbar's time. There was a strong effort from Jinachandra Suri to establish to establish ties and to bring in sort of the uh, uh, to convert people to Jainism. Who was instrumental in this is again Karamchand Bachawat. He was the Diwan of Bikaner from the Bachawat family and a trusted official in the Mughal court. So he was instrumental in making happen a meeting between Jina Chandra Suri and Emperor Akbar. And there is a story, or there is a depiction, a painted story in one of the cartouches or ovals in this dome. I'll come to it later. And it said that it was because of Jina Chandra Suri that the Mughal emperor had a renewed interest in Jain faith. It is what is believed. There are only, I think, two to three paintings of stories of Chandra Suri, which are in these paintings. So we'll see a few of them now. Yeah. What we see on the left over here is the meeting as that I just mentioned between Jina Chandra Suri and Akbar. The legend written here is Shri Jina Chandra Suri Ji Akbar Badshah. So he was invited to the Mughal court, as I mentioned, and mediator was Karamchand Bachawat, the official from Bikaner. It is also said that Karamchand Bachawat went to receive Jinachandra Suri on the outskirts of the city. So it's possible that before the meeting, this is where they are standing out on the outskirts of the city, and the asset or Acharya is being received to the location. On the right, what we see is another painting again of definitely of Jina Chandra Suri, because the inscription over here is Shri Jina Chandra Suri Ji. But the episode is not clear because the inscription that describes the episode is missing. What we see here is the Acharya is pointing towards the sky where a lightning is striking. This we know because in other paintings also this is the way they choose to depict lightning. In the foreground, there are two Mughal officials, or two officials. A Mughal, we can say probably because of their headgear, because the headgears are different for each of the officials in all paintings. Now, I'm not sure, but there is a similar episode which is found in the life of Jina Dattasuri, where he saves his followers from drowning in in the netherworld, and for that he creates a sort of a lightning effect and that helps them to be saved. So this I'm exactly not sure what it is, but probably one of the similar episodes which links Jina Datta and Chandrasuri. There are similar episodes that do. Next interesting is uh, now we come to Jina Dattasuri because there are several of the paintings by him. So it's here Shri Jina Dattasuri Ji Putra Ji Layo. So, which essentially is dealing with Jina Dattasuri reviving a Mughal prince. So the story which is commonly told or recounts is that a Mughal prince fell from a horse and he died. That portion is not depicted here. Now, Jinadatta Suri commanded certain of celestial beings to enter the dead prince's body and bring him back. That portion also is not available here. But the next description, that he's shown sleeping on a charpahi, as he's shown over here, in the courtyard of a haveli, that is what comes in the discussion of the stories. There are these small legs to the bed, and the detailing is very nice. In the background, there are several buildings suggesting a city settlement. But now these buildings are not of the Rajasthani architectural flavor. They have their different interpolations into them. So that tells us that when the paintings were made, the imaginations were different. On the right, we see again Jina Datta Suri. Jina Datta Suri ji ne here, Jina Datta Suri ji ne Nesti Dari. So this is probably depicting how he saved a drowning ship, because his hand is touching the ship. The Acharya here is shown sitting on the banks of a water body, who's accompanied by certain disciples. Again, the architecture here is interesting. It has this cables and pointed uh, fluted arches, but then the ceilings are different. The Yeah, over here the person is in a very peculiar Rajasthani attire, I would say, and to make sure that this is a water body, they've showed like aquatic life and flora fauna around it. Most interesting bit of this would be the name of M. Altaf Usta. Now, this is the person who is currently one of the few Usta artists from Bikaner, and he has been instrumental in, as he likes to call it, retouching the paintings. Again, here there are two miracles or stories from Datta Suri. Here, the story is that there was a cow which was placed in front of a temple, and he revived the cow. Here, it's where it says that Shri Jina Datta Suri Ji Bavan Peer Bulao, so where he commands 52 peers. This one is where Jina Datta Suri, it's written, oh, sorry, this is Jina Chandra Suri ji. But I think the story comes in Jina Datta Suri's descriptions more. So it says that Jina Chandra Suri ji Amavasna Purnima Kari. So it was not a full moonlight, and he, with his powers, decided to create the full moonlight. Here, he catches the lightning. So as I mentioned, this is the way they depict lightnings. He catches the lightning in his own arms ball. Uh, Along with the Dada Guru paintings, or the Jina Datta Suri and Jina Chandra Suri paintings, we also have a couple of other paintings in these ovals, and one of them is peculiar to the temple because it's Shri Bhanda Prasad Nipalki. So the Bhanda Shah, who is accredited the patronization of this temple, is shown sitting in the palki, and he is being brought. So that tells us that how rooted he is in the legend and the temple. Another set of paintings are, of course, of Tirthankaras. It's Parshwanath, Name Kumar, and Mahavir Swami. And there are, of course, a few others also. So, a larger takeaway from these is the exact date of these paintings is not known. When Hermann Goetz makes a comment on the Bikaneri style of paintings, he says that, and I quote, the actual beginnings of the pictorial art at Bikaner probably formed part of the Jain cultural renaissance in the 15th and 16th century CE. Now, to this quote, the paintings of found in this temple are extremely important. They are probably some of the earliest specimens, though they have been retouched over and again timely interpolations. But the themes come from the philosophies which were instrumental in setting up the temple and the religious traditions from, say, the 15th, 16th century. The origins exactly is not known. As I mentioned, there is an Usta artist, M. Altaf, who says that he has retouched the paintings. He also uh, refrains from saying that he restores them or he redoes them. The last retouching happened in 2000. That is also written in one of the paintings. So this all, according to Altaf, is part of the Usta Kala. Now, the germination of the tradition of this Ustakala is traced to migration of Muslim painters who migrated from Delhi to Bikaner, and they became significant painters at the Bikaner court. And there is a lot of scholarly work on the Bikaneri court paintings, say Nazar paintings or the other kind of paintings. This Usta Chitrakala does make use of vibrant colors. It uses fine brush strokes, and it's excellent to make portraits, is what Altaf particularly mentions. And if we see the oval cartouches which are used here for portraits and stories and the floral motifs, then we can definitely understand why it has been said so. Of course, the Bikaneri Kala has come a long way today, and it's not alive much. It's alive at a meager level. It's mostly in the form of, say, a camel hide work, which it is uses now. Hello, hello. Am I audible? There was an interruption from my side in the network.
You're audible. You're audible.
Yeah, sorry, my screen froze. Yeah. So as to themes and peculiarities, as I mentioned, the way architecture is shown in these paintings or the way drapery is shown, that tells us about social life, the prominent figures, to the traditions and to the region. Of course, it shows, it gives us a glimpse of Bikaner. And so Seth Bhandasar Temple is also like the owners of the temple. It's under a trust, so it's a ASI monument. They find pride in saying that the entire city can be viewed from the top of the temple, and so depiction of this cityscapes is interesting in that regard. The depictions of Dada Gurus and the its relation to original Oswals, the Kharatar Gacha and Bikaner, and all of those things intertwined to each other is very interesting and important because it has not been documented in such kind of stories and paintings anywhere. Of course, the themes that are painted here are not entirely unknown or new. They are found in other media, so like stories of Neminath, like visuals of Neminath are found in the Nemi Puran, or there are Jain texts where there are paintings. There are, of course, palm leaf manuscripts, but uh, they are not portrayed as the stories are portrayed here. And in fact, at least in Bikaner, other structures do not have the portrayal of stories in this format, which makes it important. And even though they use say interpolations of later period, as I mentioned, the stories and the themes do go back to 15th, 16th century, or rather the Jain principles as it began over here. And that is what makes the journey of the temple itself interesting. And I'm sure that as I move further in decoding other paintings from the temple, it would paint an elaborate and clear picture that what exactly was the underlying inspiration or the thematic representation that was probably expected out of it. So I think that's all for today. This is all I have for now, and I'm open to discussion and anything that uh, anyone would like to suggest. Mostly, I'll be glad to hear out.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this wonderful lecture. The lecture very well summarized the importance of paintings in the Jain tradition and how they depict social, cultural, economic, religious, and even sectarian and so many other aspects of the life. not just of the Jain community, but also of the contemporary society that these paintings were made in. We have two questions till now. Jagdish Vekaria has asked, which type of material has been used in these paintings?
So currently, it's lime stucco, and on that they do use oil paintings now when they have to retouch. But I'm sure that has changed. To what the artists of Bikaner say, like I've spoken to only two of them, they say that it was mostly vegetable dyes originally, but now since times have changed and the availability is different, and I think which is why they prefer calling it uh, retouching instead of saying that they have repainted it.
Thank you. Aniket Kolambekar has asked, the temple is associated with Jain principle of non-attachment. How do you reconcile this value with the grandiose scale of wealth and intricate artistry displayed in its architecture?
I'm not entirely sure. I would be capable to answer your question. A very nice point, though. But I feel that even through the paintings, they are propagating non-attachment, and uh, it's different for different lineages, I suppose, especially among the Murti Pujaks. Correct me if I'm wrong. That how they want to present and how they want to preach, especially until now, what I have read about, say, the Dada Guru cult, if I may say so, uh, they do believe in preaching and in revering in a certain way, and that is elaborate. And even their current practices, if we see of the Oswal Jains, are are not short of any grandiose. So I'm sure their methods and their ways of uh, mm, what I could say, experimenting or rather conveying themselves is different. But yeah, thank you for the point.
Thank you. Are there any further questions for today's speaker? Till then, we have questions from the audience side. I would like to ask a question myself. How do the monastic community and also the lay people who visit the temple daily, how do they relate to these kind of paintings? Do they just see them as like pieces of art, or do they actually pay attention to these details and understand what they really want to convey?
Um, I don't, at least for the 2 to 3 days when I visited, I've not been there for a longer time. I never saw anyone, be it Jain, be it from the particular lineage or a layperson, being interested so much. Um, of course, there is a pujari who's also the attendant. He explains few things, but then if he tells them that these are the larger themes, say जैसे यहाँ पे नेमिनाथ भगवान है, यहाँ पे पार्श्वनाथ भगवान है, या फिर ये समावसरण है, then they are happy with it. They, I don't think so, want to go into details of it. What I've absolutely not seen is anyone observing or pinpointing, neither the pujari or slash attendant, pinpointing the Dada Guru paintings. He was also not entirely aware of uh, what those are and what they depict. So yeah,
That is interesting.
it's not much.
So Monisha is saying that the depiction in the first line might possibly be a procession through all the Jain temples of Bikaner by the people and ascetics, possibly a Tritirthi or a Panchatirthi. So that's probably his comment from or his insight. Samya Jain has asked, do you know any ancient paintings on Digambar Jain temples?
No, not to my knowledge. In fact, if anyone knows, I'm happy to listen to it.
It seems that there are no further questions, and I would now request Gurvendra Kushwaha, Research Fellow of UGC, Department of AIC and Archaeology, to present a formal vote of thanks.
Okay, a very good evening to all of you. It is actually both the honor and privilege to extend my vote of thanks on this occasion. I express my sincere thanks to Dr. Swapna Joshi for accepting the invitation and delivering the fourth Professor H.T. Sankalia monthly online lecture series on behalf of Bhagwan Shitalnath Chair for Jain Archaeology, Department of AISC and Archaeology, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University. I am thankful to Dr. Kumud Kanitkar Madam, Professor Y.S. Alone Sir, Dr. Pawan Jain Madam, Dr. Usha Bhande Ma'am, Dr. Avijit Dandekar Sir, Dr. Sonali Shah for attending today's lecture. I thank all the participants for attending today's lecture. My sincere thanks to Ocean Baum for comparing and presenting the introduction of the lecture. Dhananjay Khandare for presenting introduction of today's speaker, and Vinit Gaware for technical support. My humble thanks to authorities of the Department of AISC and Archaeology and Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, deemed to be University Pune, for their kind support. So thank you all. I thanks once again to all of you. So yes, thank you.
Thank you.